You only do that when you got something good. But I'll explain more after the intro.
T.A.G.
That's tag shit.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really want.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy ScooterRay, aka Scoot the Bank, and we're here to talk about AEW's Forbidden Door. And I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit of the fallout of Forbidden Door because AEW got a lot going on. They got a lot going on. Storyline wise, company wise, they got a lot going on. And yeah, this this was a show. This was a show. It had some ups, it had some downs. Overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I saw. I mean, live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I enjoyed what I saw. Uh, Definitely going to give y'all my match of the night, which, surprisingly enough, for long-time listeners and even my tag brethren, is probably going to surprise them what I say will be my match of the night. But the show did kick off with 0 Hour. We had 4 matches in the 0 Hour. I'm trying to get it all loaded up so I can get all fancy. First up, Mogul Embassy versus El Desperado and Chaos. Funny thing enough, if y'all follow me when I do these reviews, and if y'all knew, I usually kind of tell things of how I feel. A lot of times with certain matches, especially in AEW's case, hell, and even sometimes in WWE's case, you just tend to know who's gonna win and who's gonna lose. Mogul Embassy been on the I don't want to say a losing streak in a sense, but the best friends at the moment aren't treated, as high up either. So going into this match, come on, come on, come on, come on. I mean, come on, come on. Of course, Mogul Embassy gets the dub. I mean, yeah, come on, come on. I mean, how do they say it? Was there any doubt that the embassy was gonna get the dub? Next up, qualifying match for the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. Your Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena versus Billy Starks. If I remember correctly, I think they said this was Billy Starks' debut. And once again, come on, come on, come on. Especially if you've been kind of keeping up with Ring of Honor a little bit, and the fact of how disrespectful Athena has been teaching, showing her opponents. So come on, come on. Athena gets the dub. Big Athena. Now the first swerve of the night to me. So to show how much out the loop I've been, I didn't know Stu Grayson left the Dark Order and joined the Kingdom. So I was like, okay. So then when they was like, since El Phantasmo has been kicked out and ousted out of Bullet Club by Chase Owens, it was like he's on a redemption tour. So I was like, damn it. So yeah, LP gets the dub here. Interesting what they're gonna what well no, I guess not, because LP is gonna be going back to NJPW with Strong and everything. So But I wonder, are they going to try to get LP? Because unless they're going to get the Guns to join Bullet Club Gold, it's about time that BCG adds a new member. And why not El Fantasma? Especially since he's been ousted out of Bullet Club Original, Bullet Club Prime. Oh no, Bullet Club Japan, whatever they want to call it. But interesting to see what they're going to do with BCG and how, and is it going to turn into a big brand, a big deal in AEW? But depending on what LP's contract looking like, I mean, go ahead and get the boy. Go ahead and get him. And then the final match of the 0 hour, United Empire versus the Los Ingobernables de Japón. Now going into this one, I didn't really know. Kyle Fletcher, TJP, oh my God, his name just slipped my mind. Jeff Cobb, Shingo, Hiromu, and oh my God, Bushi. Name slipped my mind. I didn't really know, but of course my money was on LIJ. LIJ is my dudes. They're my dudes. Like, I really love me some LIJ. So, but yeah, LIJ gets the dub. But, 0 hours on YouTube. It's not like they weren't bad matches. You can kind of tell, it's the warm-ups. It's the warm-up matches. So, of course, it's not going to be the most, what's the way I want to say it? You're not going to get the craziest matches truly in the warm-up. Now, to kick off the show, which I totally forgot to make a title graphic for, but to kick off the show, we had for the AEW World Championship, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, versus the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Once again, MJF kind of started to get involved with Adam Cole. And then you had the whole thing with CM Punk hinting at some things. So going into this match, I did not think, in all honesty, Tanahashi was going to beat MJF. Like, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a beat. Let's keep it, let's keep it real. Let's be honest with ourselves. Did we really think the Ace was going to topple the Solid Earth? Come on. But, of course, MJF being MJF, he did use the Dynamite Diamond ring to get the dub. So there's that as well. But yeah, MJF wins. He retains. And, of course, MJF was like, look, the only way I'm going to wrestle on this pay-per-view, the only way I'm going to wrestle in God's Forsaken Canada is if I'm first. So they granted that. So MJF, first match up, first match out. And he retains, of course. In the fallout with MJF, at the moment, they're doing their blind eliminator tag tournament where the winners get a shot at the tag team titles. Coincidentally, MJF and Adam Cole are tag partners. So MJF is kind of on this thing of becoming friends and chummy and buddy with Adam Cole since, they're going to be tag partners for the tournament. So we'll see how that goes. But most likely, MJF and Cole are going to go at it for the world title. Next up, for the Owen Hart men's tournament, kicking off on Forbidden Door, we have CM Punk versus Satoshi Kojima. Before the match, they was telling history and backstory. They were saying how this match was like 20 years in the making and things like that. But once again, if this was a match, maybe I could see it going Kojima's way. But not only was this a match, we're dealing with a returning CM Punk, and we're dealing with the Owen Hart tournament. No offense to Kojima, legend, but in the grand scheme of the everything, would it have made sense for Kojima to win? CM Punk, of course, gets the dub. I mean, let's be honest, let's be real. Like I said, no offense to Kojima, but it wasn't a bad match. It was just one of those matches to where I'm not going to say it's kind of hard to watch a match when you know what the outcome is going to be, but it can slightly take you out of it. And a few of these matches were that way for me personally, because it's like when you kind of know what's going to happen, it's kind of like it's sorry for sound effect. But yes, next match, which surprisingly was a match. I ain't gonna say surprisingly, but I thoroughly enjoyed. For the AEW International Championship, Champ Orange Cassidy versus Daniel Garcia. ROH Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata, and I think he's the NJPW Television Champion. I think that's his title. Oh, NJP, yeah, World TV Champion Zack Sabre Jr. So, of course, 3 champions in this match, and then you got pure poor Daniel Garcia, because he's the only one walking in belts. And unfortunately, I can't get up and fully show you, but just know Daniel Garcia there. Bow, 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 bow. I knew this was going to be an interesting match because you have 4 styles, and it was a fun match to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I knew who the winner was gonna be, but I really wanted Garcia to take it. I really wanted Garcia. He's been so entertaining lately. I really wanted Garcia to take it. But Orange being Orange, he survived. And I don't know how many defenses he has had under his belt with the international championship, but boy, whomever, the one who's going to take that belt off of Orange Cassidy is damn near going to be easy pickings at this moment, because the man's all beat up, his hands all beat up. They're literally going to just push him over and just take it. If I'm being honest, like whomever they book to take the international championship off of Orange Cassidy, they literally going to just, and Orange is going to just be done. He's going to just, and the problem is that he has such this legendary run damn near with the international championship that it's going to be interesting to see how they book the next person with it. To be perfectly honest with you, it's going to be interesting because boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. But yeah, Orange Cassidy retains. He survived another championship match. And we'll see what's next. The fallout for this one, Orange Cassidy teamed up with Keith Lee and El Vikingo to go against Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker this past Dynamite. So keeping that kind of feud alive. And hey, maybe DG might be the one to take the belt. And if you watch Dynamite, there is a moment. DG, Keith Lee was on the ground, and DG stands on Keith Lee's back and just wow, DG dance. And I was like, Alex Wright could never. And if you don't know who Alex Wright is, do your Googles, do your Googles, do your do your Googles, do your Googles. Alex Wright dance, do your Googles, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alex Wright could never. The DG, bam, 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 bam. All right. Next match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, we have the champ Sonata versus Jungle Boy, as we like to call him, Jungle Man Jack Perry, with the FTW champion Hook in his corner. Sonata did an open challenge. Jack Perry accepted, and he was like, "It's about time for me to get some gold around my." I mean, that's not how Jungle Boy sounds, but it's about time for me to get some gold around their waist of mine. Not just any gold, but I want singles gold. I've been tag champ. I want singles gold. And Jack gave a valiant effort. But Sonata is the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion for a reason. Sonata representing the Just Five Guys, which, as unusual of a stable name that is, you could just appreciate it. Just Five Guys. We're not some super conglomerate of a stable. Just Five Guys. Oh no, I find humor in that. Just Five Guys. But Sonata retains. And the interesting part is when Hook and Jack Perry were walking up the ramp, Hook betrayed Jack Perry and turned heel. Funny enough, the shit Christian was saying. But he turns heel, and then on Dynamite, it sounded weird hearing a heel promo. Because he was all like, "Yeah, my girlfriend is the hottest bitch in the game," and things like that. It was weird. Maybe we got to get used to hearing heel Jungle Boy, or because he was even talking about how he doesn't want to come out to that theme song anymore, and how we'll never hear it again. So I guess next week we're going to hear new music. Uh, Hook is an entitled kid, and he's going to take the FTW championship from Hook, even though it's not a title recognized, but still, he knows what it means to Hook and his family. So he's going to take it. But it just felt weird hearing a heel promo come out of Jungle Boy. Like, I guess we got to let it kind of sink in, the fact that now Jungle Man is heel now. So there we go with that. Next matchup, AEW Women's Championship. We have the champ, Toni Storm, defending her belt against. Wait. Did I do that wrong? Hold on. Oh no, my title cards got messed up. That was not the next match. Hold on. I'm so sorry. It was Team Elite versus Team BCC, and for some reason my title card didn't say. Team Elite, of course, consisting of the Elite, the Young Bucks, Hangman, Eddie Kingston, and Tomohiro Ishii versus Team BCC, Blackpool Combat Club, Shota Umino, and Kenosuke Takeshita, which they need to go ahead and just add Takeshita to the group. In a sense, I mean, I understand they get Don Callis too. If you're returning here, I ain't a fan of Don Callis. If you're new here, I ain't a fan of Don Callis. Hence the face. And I understand right now Takeshi and Callis is a package deal, but um, this one was another surprise. Um, it was a pretty solid match, pretty decent match. Of course, it turned into anarchy. But ultimately, Team Elite wins. And it won by Ishii pinning Yuta, if I remember correctly. He hit the brain buster on Yuta, and they ultimately win. Of course, a lot of storytelling in this match because Kingston and Mox being basically brothers, there was a lot of emotion. They didn't want to go against each other. Moxley never wanted to look at Kingston, vice versa. They was barking at each other, not physically, literally barking as in going back and forth, talking trash to each other, barking at each other. But yeah, a lot of spots here and there. Of course, when you got 10 men, it was going to diverge into anarchy again. Some might say it was anarchy in the arena. But yeah, Team Elite gets the dub. And the fallout from this match is the BCC is pissed, of course. Also, where does Kingston, well, not so much where does Kingston lie, pissed at the fact that Kingston aligned himself. Mox is pissed at the fact that Kingston aligned himself. And Kingston was like, look, you pissed me off the moment you aligned yourself with that POS right there, talking about Claudio. But I still was on your side, and I was still repping and fighting for you. And then the Elite threw out a trios challenge. Dark Order accepted because they was like, look here, Hangman, you just left us, bro. You ain't even try to see how we was doing or you just left us. So it's like, we're friendship over. This friendship shit is done. So after their trios match, BCC came out and started stomping at the Elite. And Dark Order was like, this ain't our fight. Even Uno was like, this ain't got nothing to do with us no more. Kingston tried to run out. He got stomped out with him. And Mox, and the beauty of storytelling, Mox couldn't watch Kingston get stomped out. He couldn't watch it. The beauty of storytelling. And then Mox was like, look, we done everything. This has to end. July 19th, Boston, TD Garden. Boston, TD Garden. As if how you put it, as a wise man once said, blood and guts. It's finally going down, people. Blood and guts. BCC, Snusick, Kanose, Takesha versus the Elite. Now, when I talk about the main event, of course, is it going to be a 5-on-5 blood and guts? Is it going to be a 4-on-4 blood and guts? I guess we'll see. We got a couple of weeks. We got a few weeks before July 19th, but blood and guts, the Elite versus BCC is going down. Basement. Friday the 13th. Guess what name, Jason? Shout out to Nicki Minaj. Now the next match. AEW Women's World Championship match. Toni Storm, the champ, versus NJP Strong Women's champ, Willow Nightingale. They've been beefing for weeks. This has been a whole thing between the AEW originals versus the Outcasts. Then it kind of spun off a little bit since Hayter is injured and Britt has kind of been, but you still kind of had Sheeta representing the originals as well. They had Rio at one point, but I don't know what happened with Rio. But it did spin off with Willow and Sky Blue. But now this was the chance to Willow to try to get some get back. Not only get some get back, but take the title off of Tony. Of course, shenanigans, chicanery, whatever you want to say. Tony Storm does retain. I mean, it didn't seem like this would have been the time for Willow to win the title, especially since Willow is NJP Strong Women's Champion. Now, if Willow wasn't NJP Strong's champion, then maybe, just maybe, I could see a slight chance Willow could have potentially took the belt off of Tony. But yeah. But it was a solid match. The Outcast tried to jump. Sky Blue comes out for the save. Of course, she came with chair because, she wasn't going to just run out there alone. But yeah. As of now, Ruby Soho is going to take on Dr. Baker next week because it was supposed to happen this week, but Baker was sick. Reason why Adams Cole match was off of Forbidden Door 2 because sickness. But it's supposed to take place. Their tournament match takes place next week. And Ruby was spitting them bars, venomous bars on Dynamite towards Dr. Baker. So we'll see what happens with that tournament match. And I don't know what it's looking like with Tony Storm. Are they going to try to run it back with maybe her and Thunder Rosa at some point when Thunder Rosa comes back? Depending on Hayter's injury, or are they trying to save it for Hayter to potentially get the belt back off, especially since they're doing All In London? So maybe hopefully Hayter will be healthy enough to be back at All In London and she could win the title back from Storm. We'll see. Next match, which for those that know, surprisingly was my match of the night. For the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship, champ Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. Now, I made comments in the past that Will Ospreay is kind of like, I do not deny the man's talent. So let me say this, because normally when you say you really don't know, Will Ospreay does not suck or anything like that. It's just, he's not my cup. Kenny can bounce back and forth between me liking Kenny, me not liking Kenny. So for this to be my match of the night, I'm pretty sure my tag brethren are probably like, what? Shut your faces, Dizzle, Jaeger, and Juggs. Shut your faces. Your faces needs to be shut. Just shut your faces. But this match was a match. Them boys went out there and wrestled. Had a movie. Of course, we knew waiting in the wings somewhere. Don Callis was a wild Don Callis was gonna appear. We knew it. They hit each other with everything. And of course, one of the cooler spots is Ospreay hitting Kenny with the one-winged angel and Kenny kicking out at one and then hulking up because he was like, did you really just use my move against me, fam? And try to beat me with my own move? Let me show you where you fucked up at, Ospreay. But throughout this bloody battle, Ospreay comes victorious. And with that is the new U.S. Heavyweight Champion. And it was like, I mainly predicted it because Callis was going to interfere in some way. They were in Canada. They've been talking hot shit about it. Callis was going to do something. And his somethings eventually gave Ospreay the dub. Kenny was not at Dynamite. Maybe, I guess they kind of giving him a little rest period. They were in Canada, so he get a chance to get a little rest. So I guess we'll see what happens. And then, will Kenny be added to that blood and guts match? And then second to the last match, we had Sting, Darby Allin, and Tetsuya Naito, a.k.a. Dudes with Attitudes 2.0, versus Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, Sammy Guevara, a.k.a. Le Suzuki Gods. The main thing that they was doing, is Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho on the same page. And this was Sting and Jericho's first time truly sharing a ring with each other and things like that. So it was an okay match. It wasn't something to write home about. It was kind of like you kind of knew what was going to happen in a sense, and you can kind of say it was do I want to call it a palate cleanser? A palate cleanser before the main event. But ultimately, Sting, Darby, and Naito wins. And hell, I'm trying to think to myself, honestly, and maybe somebody out there could correct me. Maybe thanks my tag brother. Has Sting lost a match yet? I know he hasn't been physically pinned for a loss in AEW, but I'm trying to think, is any matches he been a part of, has he lost? Because I'm really trying to think. Because of course it would have been like some type of multi-man match. But yeah. The fallout for this, they sort of ran it back on Dynamite. Sting and Darby versus Jericho and Sammy. Sting, I know you're having the best Legends run ever. Shout out to Authors of Wrestling, because he is having the best Legends run ever. Sting jumped off a ladder, not from the top, Jeff Hardy style, but he jumped off a ladder onto a table onto Sammy Guevara. And from the camera angle, from the way it showed, it looked worse than what it was. But Sting did hit it. But I think if Sting would have went up one more rung on the ladder, it would have been perfect. But Sting got here having the time of his life before he hangs the bat up for good. But yeah, that was the fallout, that they ran it back Wednesday in a Texas tornado style, and Sting got there having fun. Let's just say he out there having fun. But yeah, and Sting and Darby win that match too, with them. Sting submitted Jericho. Sting put, if I remember correctly, Sting put Jericho in the Scorpion Deathlock and submitted Jericho. Main event time. You have basically the grudge match to prove who is the best. You got the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, versus the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. I am a fan of both of these gentlemen. So, of course, this was a match to watch. And if you wrong, ooh, Lord, I'm messing up. This was as technical as you gonna get. If you want it some wrestling technical techniques, submissions, holds, grapples, escapes. This was a clinic to prove who is the best in the world. I mean, of course, you can't call yourself the best in the world unless you go against Shane McMahon. Wink. But sorry for that joke, y'all. Don't kill me for it. Great back and forth. Great back and forth. Great way to even close out the match to have these two well-respected wrestlers to go at it. Ultimately, BD gets the submission. And he gets the win to prove that he's the best in the world. And from the fallout of proving he's the best in the world, he has a broken forearm. And now they're saying that the injury was like worse than what they thought. So expect, unfortunately, Danielson to be out. So that's why I was questioning, is the blood and guts going to be a 4-on-4 or 5-on-5? Because right now the BCC still has Mox, Claudio, Yuta, and then you have unofficial official member Takesha. Do they add a fifth and maybe get Shota to be the fifth? And then, of course, the Elite will have Eddie, Hangman, the Bucks, and potentially Kenny. We'll see as it played out. But Danielson, get well soon. Hopefully you're not out too long. It sucks that you had this barn burner of a match and then you get a broken forearm. So now you had this great match. You having this great angle with the BCC. Now, granted, you could still be out there with the BCC. Just unfortunately, you won't be out there to wrestle. So that's the unfortunate part. And that was fourth gear. Lord have mercy. That is later on in the year. That was Forbidden Door. Pretty solid pay-per-view. Once again, I mean, AEW tend not to mess with their pay-per-views. They just have a lot of matches on them. But it was a pretty solid show, especially too, they had to build up the stories of why these worlds were colliding. And the fact that they was able to build it so fast the way they did, and then it wasn't out of place really. Like every match fits, and then they're still able to move on from Forbidden Door and still keep their active storylines running as well. So, not mad at it at all. Let us know below what you thought of Forbidden Door. And of course, with that being said, whether you loved it or hate it, don't forget to rate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, preferably thumbs up. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And after you subscribe, you got to tag that notification bell so that way you know when we post this new videos. Post this heat for the streets. For y'all out there, the lovable people of the Tag Nation. Thank y'all for tuning in. Once again, shout outs to Lip Dizzle, shout outs to Juggs, shout outs to Jaeger Bombastic. And if you know about us, our predictions championship, well, there was 2 sets of ties. Myself and Lip Dizzle, who's the current champion, tied. Jaeger and Juggs tied. So at Money in the Bank Saturday, Jaeger and Juggs will compete for the first tag Money in the Bank winner. And myself will be predicted against Lip Dizzle to determine who is the rightful champion of tag. Who's the rightful predictions champion. So, I need all that good energy, people. Because Saturday, your boy needs to bring it home. Your boy needs to have his official 7th reign I shared my sixth ring with Jaeger Bombastic, aka my BCG Bang Bang Gang. But on my seventh ring, I want it. Seven. But we'll see you after Saturday, people. Until next time, thank you for tuning in. You know how we sign these off, unless you're new here. Gotta get that too sweet. So until next time, good people out there, don't forget to tag out. Peace.